Good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful Sunday morning. Lauren and I are out for a little bit of a stroll through some of the nicer neighborhoods of Detroit, Michigan. That is for sure. There's a lot of pretty things going on around here. Maybe not so pretty there, but maybe I could be down for that. What do I want to talk about? Well, I've got some heartbreaking news. I've got news. So this Ducati motorcycle that I've been teasing for the last few months, let's talk about it, because there was an opportunity to get one and I turned it down. And I know that sounds crazy, but okay, wow, stunning. So here's the situation. Situation is this. In October of last year, at the Ducati, they announced all of the new motorcycles for this year, right? One of the bikes I was obviously smitten with, and I put a deposit. It was one of those bikes that I've been lusting after for basically my entire life. There are photos of me sitting on these bikes, talking about these bikes, all over social media for literally 10 years since the first model of this bike came out. Well, I gotta sneeze. So, when this bike came out, I jumped on it. I was so excited to get it. So excited to get it. So, in October, I put the money down. In March, it was originally supposed to arrive. And I went to, there's a Ducati Ride for Red event where I actually saw it for the first time, and that was in January. Stunning bike, absolutely stunning. It was everything I ever wanted. I could not imagine anything cooler than this bike. And then it was supposed to be here in March. Well, March came and gone, and it's not here. And then COVID hit Italy really hard. The Ducati factory shut down. Italy basically shut down. A lot of stuff happened. But what it ultimately meant was obviously my bike was going to be pushed back from being produced and delivered, which is a bit frustrating. But you know what? That is the world that we live in right now. It is what it is, right? COVID has changed a lot of things. It has slowed some processes down. So obviously that's not going to be the reason why I'm angry or anything like that. So then in the first week of April, Ducati Detroit received a few Street Fighters, but the V4S model. One of them became a demo bike. One of them was delivered to the first person who put his money down first. And then the second one that was going to go to the second guy on the list. Unfortunately, something happened financially and he was not able to purchase the bike anymore. So the opportunity for me to snap up the Streetfighter V4S came up. And while I wanted the bike, I ultimately said no. I said, no, I'm not going to buy the V4S. And here's the reason why. The V4 is an expensive bike. We going? We're a fucking stop. Oh, what a dick. The Ducati V4, or the Ducati Streetfighter V4, is more bike than I will ever need. I honestly think that bike is spectacular, and I would never need the V4S because I don't think I am ever going to be capable of pushing that bike to the limits. So the those beautiful new wheels and the all-in suspension front rear would just be overkill, and just really for the aesthetics more than anything at all. And it's not worth an extra $5,000 in my mind for that bike. So I decided to pass my allotment for that bike. I said, nope, I'm not going to get it. And I was, you know, I went to the Ducati shop to actually like talk to the owner about it and like walk through my like thought process. And you know, he was like, you know, you make good points, right? It's a lot of a bike. You might not need it. So then I was kicking around. I was like, what do I do? I really want a new bike. I've been budgeting to buy a new Ducati all year long since October. I'm ready for it. I want something new. I don't really want to wait until October. And then the dealer came a little cleaner and he said, you know what? It might not even be this year, right? It could be December. It could be January of next year. And that means I'm buying a bike that's a year old before I actually get it. And that also means that I'm buying a bike in the middle of winter. So I'm going to get a bike and I'm not going to be able to ride it. So I got on the Panigale V2 and I rode around the neighborhood for a bit and I didn't like the bike. It was a different bike. I didn't feel comfortable on it. It was a little different. And then we met up with one of my friends, and Ducati Detroit's really nice when it comes to like extended test rides. And then, so we went out for a longer ride, went a little around the lakes, got to test it out. And the bike turned me into like a believer of it. I really started to enjoy it. Once you're basically above 45 miles an hour on that bike, it really comes alive. And it sounds super throaty, that's for one thing. The bike that I had on, that I was riding, had the full titanium macro exhaust. It also had like all the carbon. It was pretty sweet. I'm a big fan of that bike. But now I'm thinking like, okay, maybe, sorry, that was a weird shift. I was like, maybe I switch it up. Maybe I buy a Panigale. The dream is the Streetfighter V2, right? Obviously that bike doesn't exist yet. It's like being thought of, but like it's not a thing. But I love the style and shape of a Streetfighter so very much, and I would love to have that V2 engine in it, especially now that I know how I ride it, how much I enjoyed it. One thing that I figured out, and I was quick to realize riding that V2, is that V2 engine has a lot of power. And it's 155 horsepower, I believe, which is almost 60 plus horsepower less than the V4, which was really insane to think about and very humbling, because here I was on a bike that was basically half the engine that I wanted, and that bike was giving me not motion sickness, but like that bike's quick. It's very quick, and it's more bike than I'm ready for. It's a bike that allows me to like actually get into it again and remember not how to ride, but gives me something a little more to grow into than the V4. The V4 is one of those bikes that now that I'm thinking about it, that engine just might be too much. It's too much for me. Not only I don't need that kind of bike, I don't need that kind of power, but I would literally never use that power ever. I would never use that bike to its potential. I would buy that bike just because I like how it looks, and then baby it around corners, because that bike is so much, I hate this word, but it's a beast. Everything about it is a beastly sort of thing. It's wide, it's aggressive, the seating position's aggressive, and it's just so fucking powerful. And after riding it, I know that it's the smarter thing for me to do is to not buy the Streetfighter V4. I think ultimately it's too much bike for me in my skill level at this point, and I feel like I'm smarter than that, and I'm going to probably downgrade an engine size to a Panigale V2 or a Monster 1100 and really get a little more comfortable on those bikes before I'd ever get a V4. Also, it's just like, do I need 208 horsepower? Like, there's more money in that. The Panigale V2 is like $5,000 cheaper than the Streetfighter is, the base Streetfighter V4, and it's almost $10,000 cheaper than the V4S, right? It's too much. So I just wanted to come clean with you guys about this. I'm more frustrated than anything, but I think there's a rhyme for everything. There's a reason for this, and I don't want to buy a bike that I'm ultimately afraid of riding. And I think that V4 is going to be that bike. Like, I'm going to love riding it, absolutely love riding it, but I don't think I would ever be able to push that bike to the point that it should be really ridden. And that's not the point of a bike, right? Like, it's more fun to ride a slow bike fast than a fast bike slow, right? That's just knowledge in this industry. You can't argue it. You really can't. So my thought is this. I'm going to keep my reservation on the Streetfighter V4 and see when it comes. My 31st birthday is next week, and you know what? I might go in really top numbers with about a Panigale V2. I really am. I think that's a really interesting bike, and it's a different kind of riding than I ever expected, but you know what? I really enjoyed riding it, and I hope you guys would enjoy content about that bike, because I've already gone down the rabbit hole of what kind of exhaust could I get for it? Would I paint it? Ooh, what kind of Porsche 911 color could I paint it? How about like the Viper green, or like the green oak, or whatever that color is, or Aberdeen green, or whatever. There's so many cool options for that bike. So I don't know, that's kind of where my thought is right now. I know this video is a bit of a ramble, but I just wanted to share it with you guys, because I don't want you guys to feel like I've been lying to you or anything like that. There's a situation to all of this, and it's not ideal, but this is what's going on. Yeah. So sad. So sad, so sad, so sad. But you know what? Thank goodness I still have my Royal. Still been able to ride. Been able to... There's copper. We're all going to stop so these people can go. I've still been able to ride while all of this situation was happening. I'm so happy I didn't sell my Royal at the end of last year. I don't think I'm going to sell this bike anytime soon anyway. But it could have been bad. It could have been really bad. Golf cart life. But alright guys, I'm going to end this right now. Really appreciate you guys listening. Once again, I just wanted to be open with the situation of the Ducati Streetfighter V4. And let me know in the comments below, like, do you think it's worth waiting? Should I wait to get the V4 in October, November, December, potentially next year, and then be able to ride it, knowing that the bike is still going to be rare at that point, because I have one of the first allotments in the US, but I just know I won't most likely be able to ride it anytime soon, which is kind of frustrating. Should I buy a Panigale? Is there another bike out there that I should think about? Let me know below in the comments. But I really appreciate that, guys, right now. Thank you so much. This is Joey from Burtoni Motors, and I hope you go out there and ride safe. Bye.